You ever hear the tragedy of S.T.A.L.K.E.R, the Slav Fallout? It was a game so powerful and atmospheric that it struck fear into Bethesda every time its name was uttered. Ironic. It could save others from fallout, but not itself. If you haven't heard about it, S.T.A.L.K.E.R is a series of games which is set in an alternative universe Ukraine, where instead of going to Europe, people go into the Chernobyl exclusion zone for a living. Because Chernobyl is not just a tourist attraction and a place where you can salvage radioactive metal to sell on eBay, but a dangerous place full of mutants, unexplored anomalies, unprecedented fortune and of course radioactive metal. And the life there includes reducing native population and collecting shiny stones. The games are centered around the protagonist going to the center of the zone for one reason or another. Nevertheless, the time hasn't been kind to S.T.A.L.K.E.R in its X-ray engine, which even in its highest days was quite prone to crashing. Yet despite the game's age, the modding community has proven that it's not only alive, but also is still dedicated to its favorite game. Members of the community have created countless mods over the years, from a literal soup of mods to various graphical remakes, even when the series was considered dead, and the work still goes on. S.T.A.L.K.E.R Anomaly is a comprehensive and ambitious mod, which brings changes to almost every game aspect, from combining locations from all three games to adding completely new ideas. The parts that were changed the most are story, gameplay, visual, and outright new content. Yet the changes are so vast and numerous and so closely interconnected that they won't even fit these categories. Upon starting a new game, you'll notice the most obvious change. The whole main questline has been thrown out of the window, and you're going to play as a random stalker from one of the 9 factions. You get into the zone sometime after the events of Call of Pripyat, so you can see for yourself what has happened after the protagonists had a jolly good time there. You can notice that in the way various locations are populated and in character dialogue. Or you can try yourself in Iron Man mode, which gives you
one shot, one opportunity.
And if you die, it erases your save files for the given character. Or in the mode called Azazel, where after you die, there is no game over. You just possess a different character like an evil spirit would. Still, besides unlimited exploration, there are still quest lines, in the course of which you get to meet all your favorite characters and visit all your favorite places. Agroprom Undergrounds, Lab X-18, the Miracle Machine, and the Brain Scorcher. And by doing that, you influence the game world. Turn off the Miracle Machine and stalkers start going to the Dead City. Turn off the Brain Scorcher and people pour into Zaton. No longer static, stalkers roam, chat, fight and die. They also can provide you with an endless number of quests consisting of fetch, escort and delivery jobs. Completing them allows you to earn some extra cash and respect among the faction members. As you gain enough good reputation within a faction, traders expand their inventory and slash the prices. And some faction members will be available to hire as companions. And that might prove quite useful at some point, since the gunplay was reworked and made rather challenging, so you'll have to actually aim in order to hit someone. Or you can upgrade your gun, making it much easier to spray and pray again. Upgrades have been reworked as well. Now you can use any technician's vice for as low as 1000 rubles, and do it yourself like a real man. Yet that requires a bunch of materials and upgrade kits. And to get those you'll have to disassemble some surplus equipment using dedicated tools, so it might be wiser just to cough up some extra cash. Artifacts are now more expensive as well, meaning that it's not safe to just carry them around in your bag. So you now have to put it into a transportation container with a whole family of illegal migrants to protect you from the constant radiation And to harness the power of an artifact, there are application modules at your disposal, and their quality decides the amount of radiation you get to consume. Also, artifacts pop up after emissions, so keep your detectors on hand. You can also notice groups of zombies appearing here and there after every mission. Moreover, a lot of locations are full of zombified stalkers now, so there aren't many locations that are outright empty. And contributing to the immersion. Now one needs to use a knife to loot any kind of mutant, so you'll need a knife to get rubles off a zombie. For immersion purposes, you can turn on limited bolts option, so they're no longer infinite. And to make your experience even more immersive, the minimap is disabled by default and it no longer shows where the enemies are. So to stay alive, you'll have to be much more vigilant and careful. You should pay attention to any sign of enemy presence in order to survive in the much more hostile zone. And it would be extremely tiring to navigate through such an enormous map on foot. So to make the journey more tolerable, there are guides at every faction base, who for a symbolic price will take you anywhere you want. And with the help of the guides, it will be much easier to explore completely new locations, which are quite numerous, voluptuous, and are waiting for you to explore them. Yet since they are not as integrated into the game world, it will be a blind date between you and the zone. So to start zoning, you will need all the help available. Therefore, at your disposal would be many new gadgets and attachments to make your journey through post-Soviet Ukraine and the genocide of the native population a bit easier. Put the attachments into the artifact slots to improve your carry weight, ballistic resistance, stamina regeneration and whatnot. You also get an enormous amount of pills, ranging from caffeine pills to keep you awake a bit longer, to a tetanus vaccine that helps you not die from tetanus. And if you are not a pharmacist, you'll be exposed to a small assay every time you need to find the right medicine. Yet mostly you will need any kind of pills only after you eat something you shouldn't, like zone-cooked meals. Using a field cooking kit or a portable stove, some coal or kerosene, you can cook a whole menu of gourmet meals. Dog chops, snorkeling, bloodsucker goulash, all your favorites. The mod also adds various devices to make the game more immersive and probably more annoying. Headlamps, torches, various kinds of night vision, Geiger counters,
Not too long, Ken. It's 15,000.
and radio frequency receivers. However, heaps of absolutely useless items can be found as well. Broken radios, lamps and walkie-talkies, adult magazines, photo cards, and even soaked underwear. Most of them can be disassembled into materials, which in their turn can be used either to repair and upgrade your equipment, or to craft various items, cams, backpacks, upgrade and repair kits, and many other useful things. Also, with the correct recipe, you can recycle your old or damaged ammunition, which is usually found on corpses. And as a staple feature, armor suits can be found on corpses as well, though they are going to be in a poor condition, so they are of no use to you. But you can still patch your armor in the field. Depending on the condition of your equipment, you will have to use different tools. And the same goes for guns as well, but the repair items are also separated by the caliber of the firearm. Yet if you don't have the tools, a technician can always fix your stuff for
$300.
But if you want to try everything the mod has to offer, you won't even need to repair your armor, since the mod boasts a ridiculous number of various suits. The same applies to the vast arsenal of the game. Unless you pick up every gun you see, you won't use even half of them. The new arsenal ranges from Mosin Nagant and PPSH-41 to AK-12 that saw production in 2018, with every piece of weaponry modeled and animated. And the guns that had been in the game before were also retextured and remodeled, so all weapons kinda fit together, despite some being somewhat better animated than the others. Some were given different camouflage variants, and some have various proprietary attachments installed. Armors receive the same treatment, and you're going to find various color patterns on the stalkers you meet. This includes factionary colors, cosmetic modifications, and a much wider color palette overall. Most icons have been redrawn as well, so all of the items in your inventory have that new low-resolution look. For stalkers not to stand out as much from the low-quality background, the zone was also given a cosmetic overhaul. The locations, for the most part, are the ones we saw in Clear Sky, with minor changes that are mostly visual. There's much more vegetation, various small containers, and anomalous zones. The mod also introduces a lot of visual and gameplay options which tune the difficulty and the level of immersion. From the accuracy of the AI and the way recoil works, to customizing your own radio tab. The mod brings a lot of new stuff to the table, so you'll definitely feel overwhelmed at first. There are some things that you might find completely useless, and you will be right. The mod gives you full freedom in how you approach the game, and a lot of opportunities for roleplay and roguelike experience. It may not be the perfect way to experience Stalker for the first time, but it might be the definitive way to revisit the zone while waiting for Stalker 2.